I say we go bring it home to the Coachella Valley, and we'll talk to TYSEN Knight, where we can talk about pop art from the 60s to today.
Sounds good. TYSEN.
There we go.
There you are.
How are you?
Good, good. How you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you.
As we were talking the other day, so just so the audience knows, TYSEN and I have never met, nor Hannah and TYSEN, but we're neighbors. TYSEN's over in Palm Springs, and we live in Palm Desert, and I told TYSEN, I said, we're gonna have to get together for lunch as soon as this pandemic is over and talk about art. Actually, I was gonna have you here, but I'll come there because I'd love to see your studio.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be really, really wonderful.
TYSEN, can you talk to us a little bit about how you got into art?
As a young kid, I grew up in New Jersey, and I had family in New York. So when I was younger, we used to take the train over to New York. So I used to see like all this fascinating art, like on the trains, on these buildings. I would love to do that. Like I was just fascinated by color. As you can see, I use so much color in my work. And I always say I was born a little bit too late, because I wish I was born in the era of Basquiat and Warhol and all those guys, Keith Haring. I would love to be around them. So you see a lot of the influence in my work. But yeah, I started out as a young man, just very creative. That's all I wanted to do was make art. Like that's all I wanted to do was make art. Like I said, I would go to school with my book bag, which is like spray paint cans and paint markers. And, like I'll paint the clothes for kids. I would make business cards for people. I'm always creative. I was just creative. So I just loved art my whole life. And I just stuck with it, and it was just a passion of mine. I just was inspired by seeing graffiti everywhere, those beautiful colors. I was so fascinated that I would see it in the oddest places. And I was wondering thinking to myself, how did they get up there to put that there? Then I started doing it, so then I figured it out. They climb up stuff, So you gotta be like Spider-Man, kind of, get up there and do this. But it was really cool and fascinating. So yeah, that's how I fell in love with art, just from that alone.
I think you kind of created a new term for the art world called mash it up. I was reading your bio, and I really like that. So combining Lichtenstein and Warhol, that piece over you, it's going to be your left shoulder. I can see remnants of Basquiat, the Warhol flowers, Keith Haring. I mean, that is so awesome and full of color. That is really fantastic. That's a big piece, right?
That's about 3 feet by 4 feet. Yeah. So most of the pieces I make are about that size. That's like the standard size I go with, and sometimes I go smaller. Depends on my client, or I'll go bigger, of course, in wall mural size. But yeah, so that's my standard size, 3 feet by 4 feet. Yeah.
And so do you sketch it out first before you paint it with a pencil or anything, or do you just start painting?
No, I just start painting. What happens, I'll just get like ideas. I can just be doing anything and just get inspired. And I'll watch some art documentaries, and I'll just get inspired, and I'll just start painting, and the ideas will come to me. Actually, the masterpiece mashup actually came to me because of the pandemic. I had the idea to do the masterpiece mashup, but it really came to me during the pandemic. Like I was home, I live alone, so I was here for like 3 months, like just staring at the walls, right? So I just really dug deep into my creativity, and this is what I came up with. These guys always inspired me. I said, how can I make put 3 paintings into one? So that's why I came up with this particular style. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Wait, I want to make sure that is those people that are the audience that are listening, if you're kind of shopping through the site right now and looking for TYSEN's work, go to Studio Jackie, because TYSEN is listed under Studio Jackie as the exhibitor name. So make sure you look at a lot of his work as we're talking here. So
yeah, and you have a very cool piece on there, I know, about the nurses in the pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that one I wanted to pay homage to the essential workers and the frontline workers. I thought that was really important to do that. And I was home painting, and I would when the pandemic happened, I actually figured out what was important what jobs were. Before the pandemic, I thought every job was important. I thought my job was important. You actually got to find out what was important. Like working at McDonald's was important, you know. But you know, essential workers, you know, health workers, those jobs were so essential, and they were in the battlefields every day when this pandemic hit. So I just said, you know what, I'm gonna make a masterpiece mashup of nurses, you know, and I wanted to put some diversity in it as well. So plus, you know, all the other things we're going through in society on top of the pandemic. So I wanted to, you know, just give people hope and inspiration and use diversity, you know, the frontline workers, just to, you know, pay homage. So when I posted it, I tagged a few of the hospitals in the area, and they, you know, they responded and said, yeah. So
Awesome.
hopefully they inspired them. Yeah.
Great way to honor them for sure. And what are you currently working on?
Actually, tomorrow I'm going to be starting a wall mural at a private home in Palm Springs. Yeah, so I'm working on that. That's what I'm currently working on. And then after that, I have an idea where I'm going to do another masterpiece mashup, but more with abstract art. I'm going to use these different new colors because I do a lot of work with Dunn Edwards, and they gave me some paint from Ireland. So I'm going to use that and see. It's something new I'm going to try. I'm going to experiment with and see how it comes out. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on now. Yeah.
How many?
Plus, I do my mentoring with the kids through Zoom.
That's great.
Go back to that. What was that?
I do mentoring through Zoom for Unified School District. So I mentor, you know, at-risk youth through the Zoom. And, you know, I used to do it in person, but now, you know, pandemic happened. So it's pretty tough to keep them engaged through Zoom. But I think the work I'm doing is very important. And I was a troubled teen, you know, at some point in my life. So the kids actually, they're drawn to me. So, you know, I don't take that for granted. And I make sure that I inspire them. So we paint. Actually, I don't know. I had a painting that I was painting with them. We were doing the 7 habits, these 7 habits that they have to have in life. So habit number 1 was be proactive. So we use Cesar Chavez to represent be proactive. And I think habit number 2 was begin with the end in mind. We use Kobe Bryant for that one. So I would create the small canvases, our mock-up canvases for them, drop them off at the schools. The school will send it to their homes, and then I'll get on a Zoom and we'll paint together. And so yeah, so that's something that's really cool. So we have to habit number three now, habit number 3, which is put first things first. So I'm teaching them life skills, and so they can take this with them as young men, and you know, be prosperous young men in their lives. So that's really cool.
And they'll remember that forever, I'm sure.
Yeah, they will, because I did when I had mentors and people impacted me. It definitely made a difference in my life. So if they're out there, thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. And again, you can check out TYSEN's work under Studio Jackie on the RAVE website. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I'll hit you when the pandemic's over.
Absolutely. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yeah.
All right.
See you, man.
Bye.